Oh, hello, good evening to you. Welcome. This is Ghana Tonight. We're live morning news up here at Desawe Kanda. Also live on TV Ghana on Facebook, DSTV channel 279, all across the world on 3news.com. I am Alfred Ocansey. Tonight, controlled spillage of the Akonsombo Dam causes devastating flooding in parts of the North Tong, South Tong, and Central Tong districts, destroying property and displacing many. We are in that area tonight to assess the extent of damage. Stay with us here on Ghana Tonight. Very, very worrying developments there. We'll give you details. We also bring to you key developments in the long-running and winding legal battle between the Office of Special Prosecutor and embattled former Sanitation Minister Cecilia Abunadapa, as the OSP is now partnering with the FBI to do further investigations into Cecilia Dapa and matters arising. It's the more to it that this matter. Stay with us. Also, we also have updates on the ongoing probe into the alleged plot to oust the IGP as the parliamentary committee hearing the matter retires indefinitely. Stay with us here on Ghana Tonight. As always, you're an integral part of the conversation. Let's hear from you. The hashtag we're using is Ghana Tonight on Facebook and Twitter. Let's connect. You have a say, as always, in the issues we're going to be talking about. Well, let's settle for Ghana Briefs. We'll bring you a lot more stories on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. There was a little scuffle, as has been reported, between lawyer Martin Pebo and Cecilia Dapa in court earlier today. What's the real story behind the pictures you've seen that's gone viral on social media? Martin Pebo is going to be joining us to tell us exactly what happened. Stay with us. Let's take a Ghana Briefs now.
Anti-corruption crusaders are advocating for a new legal framework to regulate the declaration of assets by public officials. The current lack of an effective law prevents anti-corruption agencies from determining if properties acquired by public officials can be attributed to their income.
Us, in Crusaders Against Corruption, is to ask for the bill on the lifestyle audit bill to be signed before this president leaves office, not after just the last few days that he's living. He should sign it and let us work with it. Let us have a lifestyle audit. Let's see what you do to be able to acquire all those plush buildings that are coming up at the Pedrasi area and God knows where. Those are important things.
Two retired military officers have strongly criticized Ghana's president, questioning his leadership style. Founding member of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo, and former National Security Advisor, Brigadier General Nunu Mensah, have warned that President Akufo-Addo's direction is dangerous for Ghana's democracy and recommend he relinquish his presidency.
How do ministers hold statues of cash in foreign and local currencies in their homes, acquire properties in prime areas of Accra and other parts of the country, drive the most luxurious cars, and live extravagantly, and expect our youth, who remain largely without meaningful employment, to be satisfied?
Go and remove. See whether those people are overthrown there. Those did they deserve to be overthrown? I don't encourage military to take over power. I don't do that. But when we are given power, manage the country in such a way that the military will not feel comfortable interfering with our government.
A former Minister of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng, says he's not surprised by the characterization by the Attorney General of his report on illegal mining presented to the Office of the Chief of Staff at the Presidency in March 2021. The Attorney General, in his opinion to the government, said the report contains claims that are unfounded and lack supporting documentation. But in a statement, the former chair of the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining said he wished the Attorney General would have told Ghanaians why there was no action on his report presented in March 2021. The legal team for retired Police Commissioner George Alex Mensah has filed supplementary witness statements at the committee probing the leaked audio tape regarding an alleged plot to oust the IGP. The statement is deemed to contain new evidence to enhance his case at the committee. The committee subsequently ended its in-camera hearings.
There was a written evidence that we look at, and it came from COP Mensah. He has additional evidence, so he released it to the committee. I didn't divulge this because of the essence of the in-camera hearing. So we need to be careful that the in-camera is not thrown into the public domain. That would not be right.
The University of Ghana says the directive to withdraw students who fail to obtain a cumulative grade point average of 1.0 or below is in the best interest of students and the school. Director of the Academic Affairs of the University, Lydia Anoa Nyako-Dankwa, says the implementation of this directive will motivate students to realign their academic goals.
We want our students to succeed. There are few students who actually get to level 400 and have to graduate and don't have the necessary grade point to graduate. And so from level 100, it turns out the person doesn't do well. Level 200 keeps going to level 400, wastes money on academic fees, and at the end of it has nothing to show for it.
Well, there's more news on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. Before we settle for our first conversation tonight here on Ghana Tonight, TV3 News in partnership with a Human Rights and Governance Center will tomorrow host a national dialogue on the theme Fighting Public Sector Corruption in Ghana. It's going to be on your screen shortly. Making a case for an effective asset declaration law. With the following details, and that's what we do have there. Alfred Ocansey is going to be joining us. Deputy Attorney General is joining us for this all-important conversation on fighting public sector corruption, making a case for an effective asset declaration law. Joseph Vital, Commissioner for the Commission on Human Rights, Administrative Justice, Shraj. Daniel Yao Demelovo is our guest tomorrow, former Auditor General, and Martin Pebo, private legal practitioner. At 10 a.m., the venue is here, the Executive Theatre at TV3, and this event is open to the public. It's free. Come and join us as we create the platform to have all voices put in together to ensure that we have the kind of Ghana that we all deserve and clamor for. Let's be part of the change that we want to see. Let your voice be heard. So be here tomorrow if you have the time. In fact, make the time to be here and join us at the Executive Theatre. 10 a.m. tomorrow is open to the public. Come hear these persons talk about the asset declaration law in this current form, whether it's really fit for purpose in the fight against corruption in this country. This is Ghana Tonight. Coming up next, there's a control spillage. That's what was meant to be, control spillage of the Akonsombo Dam. Rather caused some devastating flooding in parts of the North Tong, South Tong, Central Tong district, destroying property and displacing many persons. We're in that area to assess the extent of the damage from the affected people. Stay with us here on Ghana Tonight as we get into it. What you see on the screen there are the spill gates of the Akonsombo Dam that were opened to let go of excess water from the Akonsombo Dam. Take a look at that. The speed at which the excess water was spilled out of the Akonsombo Dam is what has caused this level of flooding. The roofs that you see there are buildings that have been submerged in this flood water, a whole building. And you see the height of this water, the levels of the water getting almost to the branches of a tree in someone's compound. That's the extent of the spillage we're talking about, and it's dangerous to say the least. And we've been monitoring this quite closely and how things are playing out in all of these areas. based on the reports that we got, these are the areas that were affected by the flooding, and also the specific concerns that were raised. We're going to be showing you shortly the specific areas that we received reports from, and some of the videos and pictures that we have received as well, just to put it on record as to how things have been very, very, very difficult for these persons living in these communities. Now, take a look at this. These are the areas that we got information of exactly what's happened. And first, we got information that there's been this situation in areas like Central Tongue, the island communities there, and the North Tongue coastal communities, Angloga, Akose. In fact, some of the communities in Akose are stretching into the eastern region. So this flooding caused by the Akonsombo Dam spillage stretches from the parts of the Volta region, the coastal communities in the Volta region, and into the eastern region. There's Ada, Esojaman, Asuchari. All of these areas have been affected by the communities, as unfortunately, as the situation is now. And shortly, we will be joined by the Municipal Chief Executive for Central Tongue, and then also a former the first Deputy Speaker of Parliament, who was also the Member of Parliament for South Tongue and North Tongue in the first and second parliaments under this Fourth Republic. And Ken Jurasa will be joining us shortly to just have a quick conversation on what is happening in that area as we speak. This is Ghana Tonight. Stay with us. We will be back shortly after this quick break to have this all-important conversation about what is happening in that community. Stay with us. We'll be back shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint as compared to other paint brands on the market. We take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint, and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, one bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
Franco Trading Enterprise at the Braka branch. About phones near accessories, and in your make a nadia. When you say Franco Trading Enterprise, number one. Your television set from 24 inches to 65 inches, air condition from 1.5 horsepower to 2.5 horsepower. Your CCTV cameras, Bluetooth speakers, your phone covers, protectors, pen drive, hard drive, iPhone, Samsung, Infinite, Huawei. It's a full beer open Uyasima Fanebia. Pura Franco Trading Enterprise. Franco Trading Enterprise. Phones papa, television papa, air conditions papa, accessories papa nina.
When you have the extra bit of ambition in your heart, you also need extra bit of energy to come through. And for that, Rush Energy is the perfect boost to get over the line. Created in the USA and proudly made in Ghana. Thanks to the unique formula, you have the power of ginseng, the benefit of vitamins and all the energy of inositol, taurine and caffeine. Anytime you need to go beyond, Rush Energy will help you get there.
The news that matters most is the news that hits closest to home.
When it breaks, we are there.
If it touches your family, your city, affects your expenditure, your decisions, as well as your safety, we've got it covered.
It's easy to just cover the news. What we are doing is different, creating a news experience that prepares you for anything. TV3 News, award-winning journalism, world-class quality, on TV and online, right at your doorstep. TV3, first in news. This is Key Points, the #1 award-winning television news analysis program, providing an enlightened analysis of the key issues facing us as a country. The Key Points of the stories that matter with the people who matter. This is Key Points, the #1 award-winning television news analysis program. Every Saturday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. on TV3 and on 3FM 92.7. TV3, first in news. Welcome back. This is Ghana Tonight. We're live on TV Ghana on Facebook, DSTV channel 279, all across the world on 3news.com. And just take a look at the extent of damage that this spillage from the Akonsombo Dam has dealt these residences. In these areas we're talking about, specifically in the South Tongue, the Central Tongue, the North Tongue areas as well, and stretching all the way to some areas even in the Eastern region. There's coastal communities there in Ada and Akusa and some places in Asuchari. What you're saying there is a whole building that has been submerged in the floodwaters as a result of the spillage of excess water from this Akonsombo Dam. This was supposed to be a controlled spillage. Now, Thomas Moore is the DC, Thomas Moore Zonera, the MC for the Central Tongue Municipal Assembly, is joining us. Thank you so much for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. First of all, what's the current situation with respect to the flooding that has affected a number of communities in your area?
Good evening, Mr. Ocansey, and good evening to your terrorist system. Let me first of all thank DRA and NADMO for their overwhelming desire to help victims of this flood. The situation is not good as we speak now. The volume of water being discharged from the dam, Kosombo and Bong, have increased. The speed very high. More communities are getting submerged. More households have to be evacuated to safer grounds. And then there's no electricity, there's no water supply due to the flooding situation and the fast business of electricity being submerged in the flood. So as we speak now, we are in darkness, don't have power to pump water our community. So the situation is still bad, and we are just trying to endure.
Has NADMO come to your aid as we speak?
We presented a institutional report then to actually tell them the situation on the ground. This is by this. Let me first of all also keep in this that it's not only Central Tongue and South Tongue that is affected. 5 other districts along the lake are seriously affected. North Tongue, Lebota, Noga, Ada, and then part of Asitama. So are all seriously affected. So they came to our aid. They presented some relief items, mattresses for those who are taken away. We use their safe havens. We brought some food items, plastic bowls, oil, cooking oil, some other items, mosquito coil. So for now, those are the basic things we have brought to us. I hope and promise that you come again more invited.
So we'll wait for tomorrow to see exactly what the updates will be on what NADMO is doing for you. Mr. Thomas Morton, thank you. As the MC for the Central Tonk Municipal Assembly, thank you so much for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. We're getting a lot of messages from you, our viewers. This one from Abledepe Wisdom Maudem says the longest bridge in Ghana, that is the Sogakope Bridge, is in danger. We have videos of that bridge. But it says following the height and the speed of the running water under the bridge coupled with strange vibrations is frightening. And I can assure you all is not well. Blodepe, thank you for this message. And we can indeed attest to that because of the videos of that particular bridge that you're talking about as well. There's one person who's been directly affected as well. He is the former Deputy Speaker of Parliament in the first and second Parliament of this Fourth Republic, and also a former Member of Parliament for the South Tongue and the North Tongue constituencies. These two constituencies have been affected by this situation we're talking about. I'm talking about Ken Jurasa is joining us. Thank you so much, for your time here on Ghana Tonight. First off, let's have a clear understanding of how this spillage has affected, you understand, a facility that belongs to you. As well, we've received videos to that effect.
Thank you for calling me. The fact is that it is not necessarily what has happened to my facility that is the source of worry. But the fact that the lower Volta basin has been neglected for such length of time that the slightest natural event that occurs destabilizes the entire north, central, and south Tongue. As I speak to you now, the level of the water from the spillage in Akosobo has risen to such a level, height, that if we are not careful and we don't stop the spillage, the integrity of the Sogakope Bridge will be compromised. Because water has virtually gotten to the neck of the bridge, and it may now start struggling to climb over. And you know that it doesn't take an engineer to conjecture what possibilities exist because of the force of water. That's the first issue. Now, the reason why we are suffering from this flood is that the statutory body that has responsibility for the management of the lower Volta basin, that is the Volta River Authority,
yes,
have not taken up this responsibility seriously. Now, the estuary of the Volta in Ada is so silted that even light vessels cannot access the water into the Volta River. Now, I recall when I was a member of Parliament, and even before then, for the past 20 years that I've left the scene, there has been no dredging of the estuary. The Volta River Authority has a dredging machine which is over 40 years old and is unserviceable. Nothing happens to us in our lower Volta basin here. Meanwhile, we have sacrificed all that we have to provide electricity to satisfy the comfort of pleasure seekers, the industries, and the overall growth of the nation. That is why I'm saying that it is not what has happened to me that is the problem, but it is the total neglect of our districts.
I see. And that bridge that you make mention of, Mr. Jasa, we have a video to that effect that confirms the concerns that you have raised. In fact, that a number of our viewers as well on Facebook have been sending us messages about this particular bridge and the integrity of the bridge being compromised as a result of this spillage. Now, take a look at this. This is what we received from some of our viewers not too long ago about the state of this bridge that we're talking about. And this is it. That's the bridge, that's Sogakope Bridge. You see the level of the water? It's climbed almost to the top of the bridge. That's what the extent of the danger that we're talking about. And this is a video that was sent by one of our viewers about the danger that has been dealt to the integrity of this Sogakope Bridge because of the rising water levels. Mr. Joshua, any interventions, Mr. Joshua, so far from the various authorities on what's going on, specifically about this particular bridge?
I was away from my home this afternoon when the Honorable MP for the area, the District Chief Executive, and some military men and other officials came to see what the condition in which we are. For me particularly, some of the buildings are in the water up to 4 feet. The air conditioners, because the water suddenly sprouted out, we didn't have the opportunity to even salvage the air conditioners. So they are in the water now. But that is just the tip of the iceberg. All the recreational facilities along the banks of the river, all of them have had severe, challenges with the water situation. Now, just about 5 nautical miles from where I am located, the water company has its water processing facility for the entire southern sector of the region. Now, water is likely to run out because that facility, the machines may be floating in the water very soon, and it will not be in a position to pump. So there are real challenges, and there are many, but most important of all is my fear about the possible structural integrity issues that may arise because of the force of the water against our only communication to and from Sogakope, that is the lower water bridge. That's
the Sogakope Bridge. I thank you so much. And this concern has been duly served with the consistent reference to it about the integrity, the structural integrity of that bridge. And a number of people who are commenting as well do agree with you on that. But there's a statement that came through from the Ghana Grid Company, that's Gridco, station at Sogakope, that has been shut down due to the floods. We have a copy of that statement. This, according to Gridco and the Volta River Authority, has affected power supply in the area. Now, this statement indicates that Gridco has undertaken the shutdown at the substation for safety reasons to mitigate the risk of electrocution, loss of life, and related dangers. And the power will be restored as soon as the situation improves. And they say they deeply regret any inconvenience caused by this exercise. So as we speak, all these areas that we've talked about are in darkness, coupled with the flooding. Imagine that. So the floods taking over their places, and they've been displaced, and they're also sleeping in darkness as we speak. We have pictures of this Gridco station that was also submerged in the flood waters. This is it. That's been shut down. That's led to the electricity also out of these places that were affected by the flood waters. This is the Gridco station. the Soga Copper substation of Great Coast that has been shut down because of this spillage from the Akonsombo Dam. We're keeping an eye on this particular situation. We'll be updating you as well. But coming up next, we get straight into the key developments here on Ghana Tonight in the long-running and winding legal battle between the Office of the Special Prosecutor and the embattled former Sanitation Minister Cecilia Dapa, as the OSP has now got some partnership with the Federal Bureau of Investigation, that's FBI, in the United States, to do further investigations on Cecilia Dapa. That's a very, very interesting twist that this case has taken. And we have a copy of that statement or that post that the Special Prosecutor put out earlier today. And we're going to put it on the screen shortly, that the Federal Bureau of Investigation, that's the FBI of the United States of America, has joined the Office of Special Prosecutor to investigate the former Sanitation Minister, Cecilia Dapa. The investigations, we understand, according to a note from the Office of Special Prosecutor, was primarily focusing on the examining of assets and financial transactions. That's what you see there on the screen, within the United States. This is the notice that the Special Prosecutor put out on its X page, that's formerly Twitter. It says the Office of Special Prosecutor and the Federal Bureau of Investigations have initiated concurrent inquiries into the activities of Cecilia Dapa, the former Minister for Sanitation and Water Resources. The statement continues that these investigations primarily focus on examining their assets, that's the assets of Cecilia Dapa and her associates, and financial transactions that were undertaken within the United States of America. It follows that this collaborative effort is to ascertain the lawfulness of Ms. Dapa and her associates' wealth, both in the context of their fund transitioning from Ghana to the United States and vice versa. So the emphasis on the lawfulness of Cecilia Dapa and associates' wealth, that's the second focus of this collaboration between the FBI and the OSP on Cecilia Dapa and her associates, and whatever transactions and whatever wealth or property they own in the United States of America. Bobby Bansing is private legal practitioner. He's a law lecturer at the Ghana School of Law. Thank you so much, Counsel, for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. So I'm reading this note, but in what form do such international collaborations take, especially if you take into consideration this particular case involving a politically exposed person or a high-profile political figure like Cecilia Dapa?
Yes, so it's an issue of international treaty that relates to mostly the anti-money laundering collaborations and related financial crimes. So there's an international treaty that Ghana is a signatory to that requires that states that are signatories to that treaty, in this instance, Ghana and the United States, the security agencies will collaborate when there's evidence that money that is the subject of investigations of money laundering or proceeds of money laundering, allegations of or proceeds from money laundering have found its way into the other jurisdictions. And so if I am in Ghana, I engage in money laundering or corrupt activities, and I use the funds to acquire properties in the United States, it's possible that the security agencies in Ghana would collaborate with the security agencies in the United States, in this instance, the FBI, to help them trace the assets and recover it, and then bring them back. I think there's a percentage sharing ratio also, bring them back to the host country for the benefits of the public. So yes, it's in line with it. If you
I see, but I want to hold you up on that particular point, because what dynamics does this new twist of the FBI collaboration bring to this particular case?
Okay, it makes it very interesting because as you informed me earlier today, there's an application for injunction to restrain the OSP from further investigating Madame Cecilia Dapa and her husband in respect of the matter that are of public notice now. Now, the question is whether or not a Ghanaian court can make an order if the FBI is investigating her, can make an order to restrain the FBI, one. Two, if the FBI formally requests the OSP's office to assist with the investigation, tracing assets, all of that, whether the court order by the Ghanaian court order would have precedence over the international treaty obligations of Ghana and its implications. I think it brings in a lot of interesting dynamics in both the criminal jurisprudence and the issues of international law and treaty obligations, as it were, between states.
And Lawyer Bob Bunsen, there are two aspects that this statement by the OSP about the collaboration with the FBI focuses on. Now, the second part, it says that this collaboration between the OSP and the FBI is focused on examining the assets of Cecilia Adapa and her associates and their financial transactions within the United States to ascertain the lawfulness of those financial transactions and their wealth that's within the jurisdiction of the United States. So does that border on some level of financial crime that we're looking at in this particular aspect of that focus of the collaboration?
So I'm saying that definitely it borders on, money laundering is an aspect of financial crime. And so that international treaty covers various angles of financial crime, including corrupt practices, bribery, for politically exposed persons and persons that do not fall within that bracket. And so as it stands now, the only charge, and I keep saying it, that has been brought against Madame Cecilia Adapa is refusal to declare assets to the OSP. That is a collateral charge. We all know that at the end of the day, the OSP is able to firm up its investigations and come up with concrete evidence. They may prefer certain charges that may include money laundering, corrupt practices. Well, I don't want to prejudge the outcome. That is why I use the word that may include. And so if that happens, then wherever she has spent those assets or acquired assets with proceeds from those crimes, Ghana can use the benefits of that international treaty and request the jurisdictions or the countries where those assets are found to bring them back so that it will be for the benefit of the Ghanaian public. You remember the Airbus scandal, that matter. There was an attempt, I think, by the OSP also to trigger those provisions in that treaty. But I think at the time they did it, they were informed that, the funds have already been dispersed, so there's nothing that can come together. So I think that it's an interesting thing, and I'm looking forward to how it pans out in the courts of law, and if it will have any influence in the decisions of the courts.
And it's something we're looking forward to as well. Very interesting indeed. Bobby Bansing, thank you for joining us. It's a private legal practitioner lecturer. That's the law school, the Ghana Law School. Thank you very much for joining us here on Ghana Tonight on this particular collaborative investigative efforts between the Special Prosecutor and the FBI on Cecilia Adapa and her associates. Now, a number of things happened in court today. The former Sanitation Minister, Cecilia Adapa, confronted lawyer Martin Pebo, outspoken private legal practitioner, about what she described as unfair comments about her regarding her case with the Office of Special Prosecutor. Now, earlier, an Accra High Court had granted her application to expedite the hearing of the confirmation of seizure and the freeze of her account, that's a bank account, from October 18 to tomorrow. Now, my colleague Lord Edwasari was in court earlier today, put together a few things, but this is what we followed as per the basis for which this court was, that's the ruling today, for the abridgment of time was granted to her. The basis as per what her lawyers put across, that they are relying on the affidavit in opposition that they have filed before this court on the 10th of October, and that will be on your screen shortly. The motion for confirmation of seizure and freezing of account was duly served on the applicant on the 20th of September. This is what Cecilia Adapa sought to have the court rely on to rule in her favor for the abridgment of time. That as a result of this sequence of events, she has been denied access to her bank account for over 2 months. And this has caused and is causing her stress an embarrassment because she can't have access to her account. And every day's delay is determining Cecilia Dapa's motion will cause her further hardship. That's what she says. She goes on to say that we have filed the affidavit in opposition, and this being the respondent's repeat application for confirmation orders, he has foreknowledge of the basis of our position and will not be prejudiced by an abridgment of time. So this is the argument they took. And it further said that in the circumstance, they pray this honorable court to abridge time for the hearing of the respondent's motion for confirmation of order of freezing of suspected tainted property and confirmation of the seizure and tainted property from 18th October 2023 to 13th October 2023, which was going to be Friday, by which time the respondents would have 3 clear days notice of this application. But what happened in court today is that the court actually granted this application to move this case forward, but not to the Friday the 13th, but tomorrow, the 12th of October. So Cecilia Dapa has a very busy day in court. But with that incident between herself and Martin Pebu, these are some of the pictures which has gone viral, and I'm sure a number of you have seen it across social media, on TV3 Ghana, on Facebook, and so on. This is it. It tells a story about what happened. Now, take a look at this. The two of them were captured in a number of pictures from different angles. As to exactly what transpired, the pictures did not say. But this is it. This is Cecilia Dapa in black and lawyer Martin Pebu, you see there. And some kind of, and this one is what has gone viral, with Cecilia Dapa pointing at Martin Pebu almost into his face. Now, this picture is what has been described by many that Cecilia Dapa was literally warning Martin Pebu to stop talking about her in media commentary. Now, is this exactly what happened? What does this picture really say about the exact situation? So let's hear it from one of the two persons captured in this picture. Martin Pebu is private legal practitioner. He's joining us. Martin Pebu, thank you for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. What exactly happened between you and Cecilia Dapa in court earlier today with all these pictures we are seeing?
Yeah, to be honest, yeah, the picture portrays a lot more than what really happened. I can imagine that the picture was taken whilst her hand was in motion. Yeah, so you see that it portrays a lot of force more than what really happened. So naturally, people talk and gesticulate. Yeah, so she was gesticulating, and then in the process, the camera caught her. And I'm even surprised. I didn't see anybody snapping us. Taking a full picture. So I'm like, hey, investigate. journalists are now doing wonders. It means that somebody had a hidden camera. Because look, to be honest, I didn't see any journalists posing, coming near to take the picture. I've been trying to, remember as much as I don't remember. Okay, but to the substance, more of it, further explanation of it. Madam Dapa only asked, about the commentaries I've been running, so to speak. Let me call them running. We comment based on the facts, and then we use the law, public interest, because we have to do it. It's part of our jobs, right? As citizens, we have to contribute to the public debates and all that. So that was what she was asking about, that, hey, these debates and all that, I said, yes, madam, it's part of our job. We'll continue to do it. I know it can cause pain and all that, but we'll continue to do it. To be very honest with you, listen, considering what she's going through, okay, as against the conversation we had, she was very cordial. Cordial is not, she was a bit very polite. She was polite is a better word than being cordial, or maybe put the two, cordiality, but I want to emphasize the politeness. No, she wasn't fighting me. She wasn't fighting as such. And let's not forget, she's going through a lot. So you see, she needs empathy. You can't run away from it. You see, if it were you or I, it would happen that we need empathy. Where you have almost everybody in the nation, baying for her blood and all that, it can be that tough. Can be that tough. So when I look at it in all that context, our conversation was very polite. I mean, even can you imagine? Look, and that's the most serious part where I even told her that, oh, madam, unfortunately, I will be commenting more going to the future. Yes, but yeah, she can't stop it. Yes. Yes. So for me, it's not as bad as the picture portrays it. So the key word is that that picture caught her in the process of gesticulating. You know, but I didn't feel threatened. I didn't feel she was coming to harm me. No, not at all. Madame Dapa was all sweet. All sweet. I mean, relatively compared to what she's going through.
I see. So she was all sweet. You sympathize with her and what she's going through. But then again, that sympathy is not going to stop you from saying what you have to say about this case. Is that what I get?
And I told her the analysis will continue and will be very objective. Yes, I told her that's the sad part. I had to tell her that the analysis will continue, you see, because as I mentioned, she needs a lot of empathy. It can be difficult. So I had to tell her that, oh, madam, I understand. I know how it is difficult. But for me, it's a job, you see. It's a charge we have to keep. A charge to keep. There's nothing we can do about it. We have to continue discussing it, but of course, dispassionately and very objectively, because, you know, we don't forget tomorrow it could be me, tomorrow it could be you. So we don't want to do it in a skewed manner. As long as we get facts, we'll stick to the facts and not do anything prejudicial or just running her down. No, it's the facts we speak to.
But this what happened today and what's going to be happening tomorrow, I guess Cecilia Dapa has a very busy day in court tomorrow. If what happened today is anything to go by, that the application for the abridgment of time was granted. So there are two cases of hers. It's going to be heard tomorrow. The one on the OSP's application for the seizure of the monies retrieved from her Blinkpe residence, and then also the freezing of her accounts. And then the plea that will be taken from her on the failure of she not being able to declare her income statement. So which one of these two cases do you have issues with about the judge who is sitting on this case, any of these two cases?
Yeah, so I'm concerned about the criminal case also going before Justice Chum, okay, because as it were, in Accra, generally, the practice over these decades are that you don't have both a criminal case and a civil case involving the same parties before one judge. No, I haven't seen it in a long while. In Accra, because there are, I mean, relatively enough judges, it's not done. So if there's a criminal case involving, say, party A and party B, it is put before Judge X. Then if there's a civil case, it goes to Judge, say, Z. But normally you wouldn't find both criminal and civil before the same judge. No, it's not. So that's been the practice, well established. And I think it's good that the OSP draws the Chief Justice attention to it. Because once the case, you know, it goes through an electronic placement system. So if the electronic system has put the criminal case to before the same judge, then the OSP has to draw the Chief Justice attention that this is a state of affairs. And I'm sure the Chief Justice will do something about it. Because in the High Court alone, we have more than 40 judges. So once we have more than 40 judges, of course, not all of them do criminal, but quite a majority, an overwhelming majority do criminal cases. So once we have that relatively big pool, there is no reason why both cases will be before one judge. No.
I see. But lawyer, all of these, plus the whole case of Cecilia Dapa and matters arising, brings up the bigger question about the asset declaration regime that we have in this country and whether it's fit for purpose in our quest to fight public sector corruption. And thankfully, you're going to be on the panel tomorrow for this all-important conversation. And it couldn't have come at a better time than this, isn't it?
Tomorrow, yes. So I'm so excited. That's Christmas in October, right? Yes, tomorrow, 12th October, is Christmas in October. The conversation, the symposium on the asset declaration law. Yes, it's good. It's good that TV3, you're doing this for Mother Ghana, because we need to have this conversation. We need to remind government that the bill, the bill on the code of conduct for public officers has to be improved. It has to go several notches higher. And I will reiterate our major concerns, though we've not yet seen the draft, but based on the answer the president gave or the information the president gave on it the last time, we can, prejudge some of the issues. The president made a comment at the Bar Association meeting in Cape Coast that he was going to give us a world-class asset declaration law modeled on the Kenyan and the US one, the US Ethics Act, and then the Kenyan one. So what we've done is that we quickly pulled the Kenyan one. As for the US one, I'm a bit familiar with it. I pulled the Kenyan one. The first striking similarity I found with the US one is that when the public officers declare their assets, the assets are not published straight away, but that they are with somebody, that's an institution, and anybody who needs to access the assets, that's a declaration, will apply and state the reasons for applying. Then let me call the person the commissioner, the ethics commissioner, or the person in charge of that office would consider the application to see if it is legitimate. So as soon as you introduce legitimacy or otherwise in an application process, you are creating problems. No, we don't want that. As far back as 1992, we had an asset declaration law that made it mandatory for the president to declare his assets straight and publish in the Gazette. And I have it. Maybe I should take my copy once again. I have a copy here. So this is it. This is the asset declaration of J.J. Rawlings and quite a number of his ministers. So that is it. Okay. A lot of the ministers are there. You get all the volumes. And if you want to get a copy, just go to Assembly Press next to Accra Poly. So that is the point. Okay. We did this and we didn't have any challenges as such. And if you go back into the 70s and the rest, yes, those days before you stood office as an MP or president, you had to appear before a committee and justify the assets you have. Right. The SMCD, when Ekufu was president, yes, you had to go, all the politicians, go before a committee and justify the assets you have. And some were disqualified, notably amongst them, J.H. Mensah. J.H. Mensah went and he was disqualified. There are other politicians who were also disqualified. I think, you remember this one? Imoro Igala.
Yes, Imoro Igala
was the one
PNC
who was going to stand on the PNC, Iliman's party. He was the candidate, but because the committee disqualified him, that's how come Imoro Igala never got to become president, right? So you see, I'm giving two examples. So
it's indeed, it's a lot that we can make reference to, and I don't want this fire and the passion that you have for this conversation to be taken out ahead of tomorrow, because you will be here, and I thank you so much for all the commitment and the support for this. Martin Pebo is private legal practitioner, and TV3 News, in partnership with the Human Rights and Governance Center, will tomorrow host a national dialogue on the theme Fighting Public Sector Corruption in Ghana, making a case for an effective asset declaration law. These are the speakers: Alfred Ocansey, Deputy Attorney General; Joseph Vital, Commissioner for the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, Shraj; Daniel Yao Demelovo, the former Auditor General, will be with us. Martin Pebo, the man you just heard, would also be here with us, together with the Ghana Integrity Initiative, who are all going to be participants, and the Center for Democratic Development, CDD, ASEPA, also some members of parliament from both sides of the divide, that's the NPP and the NDC, and you, the members of general public. This is open to the public. So if you have time, come by TV3, the executive theater here at TV3, and be part of this all-important conversation. This is Ghana Tonight. Coming up next, we also have updates on the ongoing probe into the alleged plot to oust the Inspector General of Police as a parliamentary committee hearing the matter has retired indefinitely. We'll tell you what we gleaned from our sources close to the action. Because the legal team for the retired Police Commissioner, George Alex Mensah, has filed the supplementary witness statements at the committee probing the leaked audio tape regarding this alleged plot to have the president remove the IGP. Now, the statement is deemed to contain some new evidence to enhance his case at the committee. Samuel Atachia is chair of the committee. He gave some pointers. Take a look.
There was a written evidence that we look at, and it came from COP Mensah. He has additional evidence, so he released it to the committee. I didn't divulge this because of the essence of the in-camera hearing. So we need to be careful that the in-camera is not thrown into the public domain. That would not be right. The matters are coming to a head, and we afforded the witnesses the opportunity to say whether they have any additional matters they want to look at. So what we've garnered so far, we want to retire and look at it, and then we could then start writing our report. We need to pay regard to all the evidence we have. And if there are areas where we need to shore up the evidence by calling people back or saying that it is sufficient, then that will be the end of it.
Well, that's Samuel Atachia there. But the originator of this leaked audio tape under investigation, at the center of the controversy, Chairman Bugri Nabo, Daniel Bugri Nabo, he's expressed a sense of vindication because of everything that's happened since he appeared before the committee earlier.
Yesterday, we met the committee again. You were there the other time. COP Mensah, Asari, and JB denied that they never talked to me on phone. Yesterday, they confessed it, but I present the tape, and the committee have the tape now with them, and they play it, and they say, yes, it's true. They actually tricked me. So I want to tell you, I want them to committee to see it, but the committee said they want to conclude before they come out. But as a chief, and which day I told you that, we chief, we don't tell lies. After all, what they want. I was in my office, they came. I didn't beg them to come. And all what they come to say, I think it was very, very important. And for the state secret, for MPP government, to have that kind of thing going on in the police service is very dangerous.
There'll be a lot more conversation on these and matters arising with respect to the committee and the concerns raised by some of the lawyers of the witnesses. But before we go here on Ghana Tonight, a quick reminder, tomorrow we have a date with you here at the premises of TV3, the Executive Theatre, at 10 a.m. We have a national dialogue fighting public sector corruption in Ghana, making a case for an effective asset declaration law. These are the persons who are going to be speaking to this, and also what has to be done going forward. Beyond all the public uproar about all the ills in this country, the law has to address them. Alfred Ocansey, Deputy Attorney General, Joseph Vital, Commissioner Shraj, Daniel Yao Demelovo, former Auditor General, Martin Pebu, all of them are going to be here together with the civil society organizations in the anti-corruption space, and with you, the general public. You're cordially invited to join us. It's open to you at the Executive Theatre here at TV3. It's also going to be live on TV3 and 3FM 92.7. On behalf of the team here on Ghana Tonight, we thank you for staying with us. Make a date, same time tomorrow. I'm Alfred Ocansey. Have a good night.
Ghana Tonight is brought to you by Flamingo Paint. Superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage, simply superior.